the QR code that was being passed around is the survey. So last year's results is kind of what we're going to be talking about. And so really important that you fill out the survey, that we get usable inferential data from the survey to then impact next year's conference. So this is a USDA and NEPA funded project with entities from Texas A&M AgriLife as well as Prairie View A&M University. So kind of jumping in, what is the purpose of this? Well, obviously the mission of the AI and Ag Conference, kind of like they were talking about in that last session, is to foster collaboration. Like Connie was saying, it's really important to maybe identify some of those passion projects that you have and be able to find other people within different universities or different institutions so that you can kind of get a more wide-scoped perspective on things. So ultimately, fostering collaboration is one of the most important things from the conference.
I think this one is...
And so when looking at some of the results, the question specifically, did the oral presentations, so this is talking about from last year's conference, did the oral presentations enhance your knowledge in socioeconomic equitable implementation of AI? So when you look at this, the mean 8.85, meaning that most individuals agree, which is ultimately what we were wanting. And then looking at, do you believe that the poster session enhanced your knowledge in AI? That mean was 7.87, so also right up there with the somewhat agreed, showing that people are taking away a lot of information from these different sessions. Moving into panel sessions, so kind of like what we just heard, learning from industry experts and people in their fields. The mean was 8.78, also highly agreeing that they took away some sort of knowledge that they didn't have prior from these sessions. Okay. And then when looking at, like we were saying before, the mission of the conference is to foster collaboration and have those multi-institutional relationships and maybe dive into new projects. And so when looking at, did you make new collaborations or connections, the mean was 8.7, and so ultimately achieving that goal of fostering collaboration within different institutions. And then same with, did you build on established collaborations? The mean was 8.2, and so also still agreeing that people from last year's conference were able to build on the already established collaborations that they have, ultimately leading to more information and a better use of projects. And so compared to other meetings, did the 2024 conference enhance your AI knowledge? So when looking at this, again, the mean is 8.65, so leaning more towards that agree. So ultimately, as you can see, there's kind of a common denominator that these conferences and these interventions are having a significant impact on the individuals that are either going to the conferences, presenting, or just being involved within the conference itself. And so this part was really interesting. Like I said before, I'm an undergraduate student, so I'm a senior this year at Texas A&M. I graduate in a little over a month. And so kind of when looking at students versus non-students, we got 64 usable data responses. And so looking at 33 of these being students. And so specifically when you look at students' takeaways versus non-students, so even with the oral presentations, the mean is 9.34, whereas the non-students is 8.36. And so maybe this is comforting knowing that while students are still learning, they're also taking more away from conferences. But it was just super encouraging to see that. Also being a student who was present at last year's conference, I can definitely say that I think I was one of those people who took away a lot of information from last year's conference. And so then same thing with the panel sessions. Students had a higher mean with 9.29 versus non-students with 8.27. And so again, kind of this common denominator, seeing that this intervention is greatly impactful for students, whether that be graduate, PhD, or undergraduate students like myself. Did you make new collaborations? Same thing, mean 9.16 for students versus the mean of 7.24 for non-students. And so still going with that mission of the AI and Ag Conference of fostering collaborations and maybe meeting new people from other institutes. And so then lastly, compared to other meetings, did the 2024 AI and Ag Conference enhance your knowledge while improving potential collaborations? Students, again, with a higher mean of 9.14 versus to non-students with the mean of 8.16. Yeah, and so like I said before, as an undergraduate student who went to the conference last year, I had so many takeaways from the conferences, as well as getting to meet new individuals, constantly being introduced to others, and so I think it's a really great opportunity to have students and to give them the opportunity to attend conferences like this and be able to learn from such intelligent individuals as yourselves. And so then kind of looking at specific words that individuals from last year's conference were able to take away. You can see that, so what new things or innovations did you take away from last year's conference? There are definitely some words that kind of stand out. You see AI, you see panel, you see presentations, questions, and so looking at these results and how we are able to maybe implement them into this year's conference. Yeah, and so as you can see, 41 the individuals said that they took away specific AI technologies, and so this could be a wide range of things. You know, we have so many different experts that are coming in and speaking on these panels on very specific and kind of their expertise. And so also when you see 17 took away applied research and ag, and 6 took away networking. And so kind of same thing, what are some things that you would like to see different when attending the 2025 AI Ag Conference, which is where we are right now? And so some of these common themes include maybe different questions, more presentations, the conference as a whole, and so really interesting to kind of see those common denominators of what individuals from last year's conference were wanting to see in this year's conference, and then also a cool perspective now being at this year's conference and seeing, maybe thinking back to what was going on last year versus what's going on this year. And so, kind of going back, what are some things that you would like to see different at this year's conference? Like I said, we're here right now, we're in the present. And so individuals said they wanted more opportunities to network, so everybody better go out and enjoy the coffee bar once we finish up this presentation. More involvement from smallholder farms, and so, of course, like we said, we just got to listen to a panel with some people who are experts in their fields, and then learning from those farmers and ranchers later tonight. More student presentations. As a student, I appreciate this one, that you guys are allowing me to come here and present to you guys, as well as the poster presentation last night, getting students involved and getting them the chance to speak with individuals. Yeah, and so those are kind of the top 3 that we see when people were talking about last year's conference versus what they would want to see in this year's conference. There we go. And so of the 64 responses that we received, 15 of them were from faculty, 5 government representatives, 33 graduate students, and then 11 industry representatives. And then also you can see that there's a significantly higher male response versus female response. Yeah, and so it's really important, the barcode or the QR code that was going out earlier with that Qualtrics survey. This is the data that we collected from last year's survey, and so really important that we get information from you guys regarding the conference so that we can make the 2026 conference the best that it could be. So I want to thank you all so much for allowing me to present today, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
While you're ahead of time, we have 5 minutes to have questions, so please feel free to raise any questions.
Yes.
I enjoyed your Wordle. So, your Wordle said, thank you. Congratulations on graduating.
Thank you, thank you.
We would have known you are undergraduate unless you told us.
Oh gosh, I know. I'm about to leave to go back to College Station because I have class in the morning.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yes.
This will be a quick question. You were talking about what is something you would like to see different at the 2025 conference. And right in the middle, in big Wordle, was questions and think.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate on that? What does that mean, questions and think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think providing individuals with the opportunity to ask questions, kind of like we had in that last session where, you know, you have 15 minutes afterwards to ask questions to the experts in the panel. I think that's where that was coming from. And then with Think, just having more of those presentations that really maybe challenge you in the way that you think, challenge people to make different, kind of take sometimes, especially thinking as a student myself, it can be so easy to get kind of tunnel vision when you're in your university. This is what you're doing your thing, and it's hard to kind of get that outside perspective because I'm not necessarily talking with students from MSU or from the University of Florida, and so kind of taking the opportunity at these conferences to think about maybe what other people are doing, asking them about what are some new things that they're excited about, and so that's kind of how I took those few words.
Thank you.
Question for you.
Yes.
Sorry I came in late. Congratulations on graduating.
Thank you.
What is your major?
I am Ag Communications and Journalism and Ag Leadership and Development.
Very good.
Yes, thank you. Yes,
Morgan, I don't know, very nice presentation.
thank you.
I don't know if you have access to the previous surveys or future surveys,
Mhm.
but did you see anybody making any comment about having hands-on during the workshop, during the conference,
Mhm.
of going to a place and learning how to do these or things like that?
Mhm.
Did you come across any of that?
So I don't have access to those results. Dr. Strong might. But I feel like when thinking about myself, I feel like that's kind of the way that I take away the most information is when I'm hands-on doing it. And so I think that would definitely be something that I'd be interested in, but I don't know if you would have anything to add to that, Dr. Strong.
If you remember last year, the group that went to the phenotyping lab, those strong comments came from that. And so the workshops, the tours of workshops that were Monday morning were derivatives or products of this data saying, we want more of that. And so those were examples from last year that we have seen directly and indirectly that could influence development of these topics.
That's good. We still have time for more questions?
Morgan, nice job. Can you go back to your slide where you have all the demographics of like who? So you
Yes.
had 33. So when you had your student results earlier, those were all graduate students?
Yes.
Okay, there's not very many undergrads
So,
like you at the.
I will say, and someone might be able to correct me, I think it was maybe myself and one other individual who were students at Texas A&M who were undergraduate students. I'm not positive on that, but with talking with students last year, pretty much everyone that I talked to was PhD or graduate. So not super common to run into other undergrad students.
Right, and that's kind of what I thought. So this is nice. Can you go back to the results where you show the difference between the students and the non-students?
Yes.
So you've got these p-values in there. Do you know what those are? Can you tell me what those mean? Do you see the p less than 0.001?
Yes, yeah. Is that talking about that it's a large or a medium-sized impact?
That's
Sort of.
Oh,
level of significance.
okay. Level of significance.
Yeah, so those are basically saying that the students have higher opinions than the non-students, right?
Mhm.
That's kind of what you said in the presentation.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, is that what you expected? Did you expect like the students that are there to have higher opinions of the material than the other people that are there?
Mhm. I feel like from a student perspective, obviously I can't speak from industry professionals or government relations. I think as a student, everything that we're receiving, the way that I kind of view going to these conferences is I act as a sponge. And so I'm kind of sitting here observing, and so honestly everything that I take in is kind of exponentially above what I would have thought. And so as a student perspective, I would say that I would assume that what I'm taking away is probably going to be greater than what others are taking away because everything is new to me, if that makes sense.
It does.
Mhm.
And I also think it might say maybe as those of us further down the line are a little bit more harder to
Right, absolutely.
A little bit more, yeah, a little bit.
All right, last question.
Very quick, Morgan, ideas to bring more undergrads.
I will say I feel like having professors who invest in students, and also this is something that's not necessarily marketed to undergraduate students, and so I would have no idea that this conference was going on had I not been working with my professor, Dr. Strong. And so whether that be if you're a professor or you work at an institution, inviting students in, because majority of the time when you give undergraduate students an opportunity, they will take it, especially if it's coming from someone that they highly respect. I mean, if any of you guys were to give me an opportunity to go somewhere, I would say yes, because I don't think that I would probably get it again. And so just kind of giving those invitations and yeah, I think it'd be really cool to see see more undergraduate students at next year's events, even if it's just inviting students from the university itself, so like Mississippi State or A&M last year.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Nice presentation. Okay, let's go ahead to our next presenter is Azia Arba. I guess pronounce it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I stand there?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I have a good,
Yeah, Azia from University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
this one. Also, I'll make sure that I can see the screen. Hello, thank you so much for coming to my presentation. My name is Nazia Arba. I am an assistant professor as well as extension specialist in agricultural and resource economics. So I work with University of Maryland Eastern Shore. University of Maryland Eastern Shore is a land-grant university, and it's an HBCU school as well as it's an 1890 land-grant university. If you know, there are two systems, especially in the Northeast, 1860 and 1890. So I actually moved to UMES 2 years ago, and I moved from 1860 Institute, which was Rutgers University. And my background was highly like research and teaching focused. So coming to the extension, it gave me a lot of insight, and it just provided these nice opportunities how to connect with the communities and my clientele through my research. So today I am going to talk about artificial intelligence decision support tools for agriculture resiliency. My expertise is ag and resource economics, but I love to develop decision tools to make farmers or the communities that I am serving for, to make it easier for them to get insight on those tools and that can help with their economic livelihood. So this is just a screen that we have to show whenever we present anywhere, since we are funded by USDA. And just providing a little bit background. So in terms of background, Agricultural Improvement Act of 2018 that we also use as a farm bill. I believe that is the latest bill that we have. It includes the provision that address the unique circumstances and concern, especially to the farmers who are socially disadvantaged, either farmers, limited resource farmers, veteran farmers, and renters. And in the farm bill, that these farmers are also known as historically underserved producers. So there was a little bit of a pattern shifting, especially during the COVID-19. There was a significant increase among that segment of the farmers to participate in agricultural activities or just to provide the supplemental income. So what is happening there? Of course, there is an increase of the participation from underserved farmers, but they have their challenges. And one of the unique challenges that that was mentioned in the farm bill is farming experience, capital in terms of financial capital, also limited access to financial credit and land. And I should also add that not only limited access to the financial credit and land, but also limited experience in financial planning, limited experience in how to access those capital. So this is the other information related to what University of Maryland Eastern Shore did in their farmers need assessment that was happening in 2021, 2022. And within that need assessment, they interviewed almost 124 individuals sophisticated. So the farmers that took these interviews were from those counties mainly. So there were like 48% white farmers, 52% non-white farmers. That was just the composition of that group. And then the need assessment also found that 29% were full-time, then 44% were part-time farmers, and then 27% farmers that were inactive. So based on that need assessment, there were a variety of problems that were found associated with the farming. The top challenge, so they actually divided the problems in terms of different tiers. The tier number one included as a lack of capital. There was access to those financial capital for those farmers that was followed by expensive production inputs as well as shortage of labor. That was found as a 92%. In the tier two, recurring theme was the lack of producer processing facilities, also high interest on credit, access to the market, and also not having a training on computer skills and knowledge. And when I talk about computer skills and knowledge, I'm not talking about programming. It's just a basic spreadsheet. They don't even have information on how to do the spreadsheet for their day-to-day business budgeting or planning. Type 3 is lack of farm business planning. That's why I was hired to the extension, and that was also the chief concern. So there are key challenges in terms of financial, technological, and educational level. So just to provide a little bit of information on what's happening, this was the data collected from the U.S. Census of Agriculture that had for the 2 years. One was 2017 and the other 2022, and you see that there are additional 121 farms, maybe not too much of a big number, but just give you a little bit perspective that there are additional 121 farms, but at the same time, if you look at the farms in terms of acres, we lost 12,086 acres in terms of farmland. So that maybe tells you some story that here maybe we're talking about the size of the farms. So it may look a little different if you are in the southern part of the country, but this is Maryland Eastern Shore. Sorry, this is like Maryland in general. So the farm size may be different. How we call farm size in Oklahoma or Mississippi or some other Midwest states. So this is just information on what the farm size look like in Maryland. And you can see most of those farms are 10 to 49 acres. There are some changes in between 2017 and 2022. And you can also see that there is a slight increase in terms of market value of agricultural products sold. And this also gives you information on what is farmers' age, typical age in Maryland. So most of the farmers actually are between 55 to 64 years. We do see that there is like a kind of a deficit in terms of young farmers in Maryland. So what are the problems, especially if we would like to have that segment of farmers, underserved farmers, beginner farmers, they actually have the low capacity to adapt to environmental changes. And there are reasons. For example, in Eastern Shore, Maryland, we have a sea level rise that is causing the soil intrusion for lots of farms. And farmers, they just cannot deal with that and they give up. Then that means that that's a good example of farmers' ability to adapt. Another is the marginal landscape, again, soil intrusion. in those lands, that is a marginal landscape. So most of these farmers' land are actually located in those regions. They sometimes rely on the crops that are negatively impacted by unpredictable weather patterns. For example, Western Maryland, you see the farmers mostly involved in crops, thank you, soybean or corn. But in Eastern Shore Maryland, there are specialty crops, vegetable crops, sometimes culturally relevant crops. So those are the crops that are highly affected by. And also, sometimes farmers, they don't know how to submit the application for the loans, and they are also more exposed to the price uncertainty due to the competition with the bigger farmers. So there is actually definitely need for the AI tools that can help those farmers, for small and medium-sized farmers. I will just, since I have 2 minutes, so it is very important to have that technology to the farmers, and it will definitely help them not only on the farm, but also in providing some of the soft skills in terms of business planning and decision making. So I kind of see AI in terms of 4 different classes or categories: scientific spatial temporal AI, physics aware AI, human in the loop AI, resource efficient AI. So for the scientific spatial temporal, I mean that we are talking about the multi-models. For example, AI can have the ability to deal with the different types of data, satellite images, what's happening in the soil, weather-related data. So that can provide a very helpful system for the farmers. Physics-aware AI means that if sometimes we just do simulations, but if we do simulations based on the structure of the system, putting a constraint on the system, that will make it more realistic and trustworthy for the farmers. Human in the loop, and I don't know if you attended some of the workshop yesterday. They were talking about creating concepts and adding the expert knowledge into the system, into the AI system. So that is also needed when we are talking about the decision making. And resource efficient AI can also help in reducing the computational cost. So the AI tools can also maybe work on a data scarce system and can reduce the uncertainty. So those are some of the different tools and examples under those 4 categories. And since I am an economist, so currently I'm looking for ways to help farmers in terms of decision making, especially for their business planning. What happens is that most of the time, if farmers need to do some budgeting, they go to the extension sites, and there are enterprise budgets that are available in terms of Excel sheets. And most of the time, those enterprise budgets are only available for monoculture or the crops that are large farmers engage in doing. So farmers, they don't like sometimes Excel sheets because they don't have time. So my goal is to incorporate an AI into decision making that can provide risk modeling for the farmers, and they can also forecast the economic variables. So currently, I am collaborating with David Warren on this budget bot. These are the names of the members that we have in the team, and budget bot is a part of extension bot. So correct me if I'm wrong. And the purpose is to provide egg producers to use research-based information so they can make key decisions for their farms. And the audience for this bot would be mostly underserved farmers. That's where my extension and my clientele is. And it will solve hard to, a lot of problems, especially complex problems. Right now, we are trying to use budget bot as a replacement for enterprise budget next year. And again, this budget bot is an AI-powered decision and improves their income. So this is all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natia. And now it's open for questions from the audience.
Yes. Hi.
Really enjoyed your presentation. I'm originally from Maryland, and I'm also an ag econ at University of Tennessee, so I can really kind of relate to everything you talked about. I know you look mainly at the crops perspective. Did you look anything into like the other commodities, like the broiler chickens or greenhouse nurseries or livestock in general?
Yeah, so the crops is just a start, because when I talk about enterprise budgeting, it actually for different types of livestock, poultry, and especially in the Maryland Eastern Shore,
Yep.
we are dominated by poultry. So once we get this tool, that's the plan is to incorporate it into different types of agriculture commodities. Yes.
Okay, my name is Benga. Thanks for the presentation. I appreciate how that you presented on the age of farmers. So I wanted to ask, based on the age and then what you think about adoption of this technology by farmers, do you see age playing a role in whether influencing adoption or not?
That's true. I think we need a better education, especially in terms of young farmers. There needs to be more awareness about the agriculture in general. For example, I'm also a faculty advisor for recently hired for a faculty advisor for this undergraduate group. It's called Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resource and Resource Sciences. So my goal is to teach those students because that's what they would like to do to continue their career in agriculture and to provide the information that it's not like challenging, especially when you become a farmer. You definitely need lots of skill sets, but sometimes young folks, they would like to go more into like different fields and they just get overwhelmed. And sometimes the entry to ag field is also kind of hard for the young folks because it's dominated by middle-aged folks, and sometimes the knowledge transfer doesn't happen. And then again, we have these unpredictabilities in terms of weather and everything that makes it more difficult. But we need to have better education that we can give to the young folks and inspire them. And I think maybe AI is another way to bring more graduate or young folks into that.
Any more questions? All right, cool. Thank you so much. Okay, our next presenter is okay. Forgive me if I didn't pronounce correctly. Abiodun Omotayo. Oh, sorry. It's not here. Or is Muhammad Roman here? Well, all right. We seem to end our session extremely early. Well, apologize for that. But I encourage you all, have more conversations between yourselves. Take this opportunity. Especially for this year, we have a more focus in the socioeconomic aspect of this AI. So I'm so glad to see you all in this room. So please, maybe we can have a stronger group, a more conversation between us in the next year's meeting. All right.
Can I suggest something? Can you
Sure.
put this on the slides and go through it slowly so we can see what our
Yeah, that's a good idea, right?
policy?
Yeah.
Thank you. Since the slides are here.
Yeah, okay, I'm also very
And you
interested
can
in
present
her.
as well.
Maybe I'll try. Yeah, ethics, impact, and policy, that's very relevant. So AI is transforming agricultural, offering solutions for optimizing production and sustainability. So this review, okay, that's what review started to explore the ethical considerations, potential impacts, and policy pathways for integrating AI in agricultural. So it highlights AI's potential to revolutionize global food system by enhancing efficiency, enabling real-time monitoring, conserving resources, and mitigating post-harvest losses, aligning with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Okay. Oh, that's
That's complicated.
okay.
I wanna see that.
So I guess this researcher pretty much like read maybe hundreds of papers and then filter this out for us for those who are related to the AI like ethnic or you know all this policy concerns. Okay, so I guess we can skip this one, right?
I'm gonna put it all in chat GPT, you can come up with it, right?
That's AI to help us.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm just curious, like, how many papers? Yes.
Maybe you're stuck in Atlanta with the other.
Oh, could be.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Storm. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what the findings are. So AI's transformative potential in agriculture, enhancing productivity and investment growth. Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
My understanding is these are kind of summary results from the 138 papers.
Seems so, right?
Collaborative presentation, there we go.
Okay, let's go to the next page. So AI technology revolutionizing agriculture. Oh, okay. Precision ag, automated decision making, data privacy. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good summary. And I like this picture. Is that real? Or it's an AI generated? AI generated, right? Yeah. I think right now we are trained really well to detect is it a real picture or it's an AI. There's still something like they call AI flavor.
That's it, AI flavor.
Right. Let's see what's the next page. Opportunities of AI agriculture. Okay. Again, precision ag, disease prediction, climate resilience.
You get to change the third term now to ecological resilience. Ecological resilience.
Ecological
You should
resilience.
use that.
That's, again, that's a trigger word. Ecological resilience.
Okay. I think we probably will upload all the slides to the website share, right? So yeah, if you miss any detail, maybe you can catch up later. But let's try to finish that. The challenges in AI adoption. Oh, okay, adoption. My favorite part. Technology deficiency. Okay, limited access. Data accessibility and skill gaps. Okay. Well, that seems the question I heard from everybody all the time, all the challenges in adoption. Everybody knows it's really good, everybody loves it, but it's just like, people don't know how to get started. All right, next one. Oh, okay. Bridging the gap in AI-driven agricultural capacity building, localized training,
y'all have a degree in artificial intelligence. Is there a certificate program, like, can people log in, can the, is it like on a certificate program in AI, that you can come and take a whole degree? Or like extension?
Yeah, I think I heard about this. Some universities, some institutes, they are trying to build this like an AI, certificate or
Right.
something, some degree or concentration, right? Or even some, maybe some major. Yeah.
So I don't want a whole major, because I, they log into Mississippi State and get a, close that gap by having a certificate or
Yeah.
set of courses rather than a whole degree. Just a question since you're not the presenter.
I'm anticipating in the next few years, maybe we'll see more universities, more, department offering something like this, right? Certificates, more AI focused. Yeah. All right, next page. Yeah, we have precision agricultural certificate.
But not AI.
Yeah. Okay.
Precision ag is one of the first areas I think of AI. So
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Heavily overlapped. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Precision ag would be good, that certificate, precision ag would be good.
Okay, so ASCO and environmental challenges.
That legislative thing about the presenter earlier today, say when the machine comes through and pick the good raspberries, the bad ones. I mean, it was hard to reach rather. So it's an effort to have somebody go in and pick the hard to reach raspberry at a low cost.
So environmental impacts, that really contradicts with what he was saying, or she, I can't remember who's the speaker. A few slides back about climate resilience and ecological resilience. And isn't this the whole idea of increasing AI so we can manage the land more effectively, efficiently, reduce environmental footprint? But we don't know what these are impacts.
That's right, yeah.
Maybe just pointing out the tension between the two, right?
Yeah.
That AI is likely going to increase rural employment, and there's tension about speculating.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks so.
Okay, let's move on.
All right, next one. Okay, socioeconomic impacts of AI. Right. Employment, economic inequality, or equality, rural-urban migration. Okay.
Depends on sometimes the size of the farm. For example, most of my farmers, they cannot afford a business advisor. So it actually helps them, right? They are not replacing any job, they are just trying to augment their business by having something that's cheaply available online.
Yeah, I think the farm labor is it's a hard work anyway, right? So if there's some robot can do this hard work, they can save people to do something more
Labor intensive.
Yeah.
It may change the way they do work, so instead of you harvesting, you're monitoring the robots, it's the trade.
Exactly, yeah. You don't need to go to the field in a 90-degree day, right? You can sit in the room and just monitor the work. Yeah, good idea. All right. And rural-urban migration. I don't know what that means. Maybe somebody living in Manhattan, in New York City, can remotely control some farm in Kansas, maybe?
Actually, that happens because, for example, some of the coastal areas in Delaware, even close to Ocean City, Maryland, we see an increase in housing prices, and most of those nice houses around the beach, they are actually bought by people who are from the big cities because they can work remotely and they can afford big cities.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
stay
that
with
could
freelance.
be, yeah, that could be a possibility. Maybe some programmer, some software engineer in San Francisco wrote some, create some AI farm. So farming is like playing video game maybe.
My guess is that this is talking about if there are impacts to ag employment in rural areas, meaning AI comes in and you have automated robots that do that, those people might then migrate to urban areas in search of jobs.
Yeah.
But it can be the opposite. Many of those, those who were kids of farmers, let's say, they don't want to be in that hard environment. And now they can go specialize in computer science and come back and do this.
Another thing which ties the two together that I've seen from the literature is that there's going to be a kind of flip in the rural community where agriculture is predominant. So the case would be, presently as we know, majority of farmers they are not highly skilled in all these AI stuff. And so the case would now be, if eventually AI takes over, so farmers do not have the skill to operate, then there will be need for experts who knows how to, and then those might come into, I'm just thinking in line with this. So those experts might come to the rural area where maybe people in ag who do not have the skills and then are probably not the owners of the farm, but were originally working on the farm, could then move to other places like maybe great migration stuff back then. So it could happen, maybe that's what he was trying to say.
Okay, I see. I really wish the authors in the room. Okay.
It's a good discussion.
I think it's a great guided conversation. This might be a new
Yeah.
new concept for presentations. Just send your slides and let people talk about it.
Yeah, people will try to,
Maybe just a tangible example I'd offer. Corey Spades from Savannah talks about this frequently, but they've got a command center where they've got an operator, right, sitting anywhere in the world, controlling a number of different tractors. So however you want to look at that, where that person is positioned, I think is for anybody's interpretation. But I think we're seeing that today. I think there's real challenges about how do you maintain the relevance of the skill sets and so forth. Somebody still has to do the service, the maintenance. How does that become the attractive job? Usually that's the thing you don't want to do because you can go drive. So it turns the equation on the head a little bit.
I think also, I agree with that, and also I feel like that it's not a binary issue. It's like, oh, good or bad. It's a very case specific, right? And I think there is a value for the expert or the knowledge or domain knowledge or human touch in AI. I also think that since if the AI technology will be cheaper in the future, I think we may see a premium in a human service. I don't know. Like I feel like that there will be like, okay, you wanna talk to a machine over the phone or do you wanna talk to a person? Well, that may cost more if you talk to a person. So
What I heard is somebody's gonna pump our gas and wash our windows again.
yes, in New Jersey, that's like, we don't pump our gas in New Jersey. Oh, okay.
We do know that in the world of competitive chess, humans plus AI can beat any AI by itself or any human by itself. So it could be, at least for a few years until AI is getting even better, that a combination of a human and an AI together, so you know you're going to call the human who's going to work with the AI and give you interpretations, might be the premium sort of offering you're suggesting, right?
I think that's happening in the video games, right? When you play with another human versus when you just play with a...
Like, if you look at the banking industry, it's ahead of us in agriculture. And they moved into automated press 9 and press 8, and now they go into to advertise. You speak to a human, and that's premium, and it's an attraction. So the combination is going to be a big attraction.
I think the human AI is important, the interaction. One thing about AI by itself, it doesn't add context at all. So the human gives it the context in talking about it.
Cool. All right, let's see what's the next page. AI's impact on productivity and food security. All right, that seems to be a big topic. prospects and future efforts for development. Okay. Research and development, education and training, ethical and regulatory frameworks, infrastructure and connectivity. I think we're probably getting to the end. Let's see. Oh, okay, conclude. Collaboration, investment, mitigation. Okay. Well, I think that's a really nice slide. It's perfect for just generating more discussion. We should really send this feedback to the committee and see. Look, we have probably the unique presentation in our session. Everybody become a presenter. Collaborative presentation.
I think one thing he didn't bring up is with any technology, cybersecurity becomes, there is one parallel session on cybersecurity, but I think
I'm doing one.
you're doing one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important in this context as well.
Yeah.
So we can give him feedback if we have recorded this for the next.
Further study next year.
Yeah. Well, I guess we are probably done with it. I think so, right? I mean, there's oh, okay. No, actually. Yeah. But yeah, I think this is a really good conversation, and I encourage this conversation to continue. So we can either go, walking around and have small group chatting, or encourage to stay in the room. We can keep discussing. I think everybody got a really good idea. And again, thank you so much to be here, and I'll see you around in other sessions.